minute and I will let you know when we're live. Connecting to YouTube. Yeah, be aware of what it's gotta be Aber's fault.
Don't cuss, don't say anything you don't want to.
Okay.
Here later.
We're live.
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order for a workshop. It's not a meeting, it's a workshop. Before we start, tossing out ideas, I would love to do a round of introductions. I know some of you, but not all of you. So should we start with the board up here first? Yeah. Go for it, Cora.
Okay, well, it's delightful to see all of us who love the library so much in all of our different capacities. So I'm glad to see you all. I'm Cora Rose, and I'm the treasurer on the board of directors, and I also serve on the endowment fund.
Okay.
Also, what a great turnout. Thank you, everybody, for taking time to come this night. I'm Sue Dodgen, and I'm vice chair, and I serve on the board, and I'm very happy to see you all. Thank you for coming.
Kathleen Dixon, I'm the current chair. Pat talked me into this. More or less. And yeah, thank you all for coming and spending a couple hours of your evening with us as we try to come up with fun ways to raise money for this beautiful library that we all love.
I'm Julie Van Hoos, the director. Just so you know, Peggy Gergen, of course, I think she'll probably come. I haven't heard from her, but I think she's supposed to be here. And then do you know if Iris is coming?
Yeah.
I don't. Iris is our newest board member. Pat Piper, if you may not know already, she retired from the board at the end of June, and Iris was appointed to her open position. So if she walks in and sits down and you don't recognize her, that's who it is, Iris Lever.
Let's go down this way next, please.
Okay, I'm Marilyn Hart. I'm on the board of Friends of the Library. I've been president, I've been treasurer, I've been vice president, I've been, you name it. I'm currently vice president and been on that I think 15 years or so. It's been a long time. But I always tell everybody we're the fun board.
I'm Jim Benson. I'm also on the Friends of the Library board and was also chairman of the fund committee at one time years ago. Been here in Brookings now for 20 some years, and I'm a retired foreign service officer, probably one of the unique retirees in the community.
Definitely. Alita.
Alita McNamara. I work for Southwestern Oregon Community College. I schedule community ed classes there. And I am on the budget committee for the library, and I've served on the board for the Friends of the Library on and off when Marilyn needs me and drafts me.
I'm Pat Piper. I'm a real estate broker, and I'm a Friends of the Library volunteer.
Let's go across.
I'm Abigail, and I'm a small business owner. I'm a florist and a wedding planner.
I'm Georgia Nowlin, and I am on the endowment board, and I am the chair of the endowment board at this point.
Go ahead.
I'm Sharon Geringer. I'm on Friends of the Library board and on the budget committee. I'm Cheryl Spencer, and I'm on the board for Friends of the Library.
I'm Linda Strickland, and I am president at the moment of Friends of the Library. I always makes me laugh to say it. I've been on the board for a couple of years.
Right. Go ahead.
I'm Brenda Jocks. I'm on the endowment fund and on the board of the Friends of the Library.
I'm Karen Munson, and I'm on the endowment fund board.
Thank you and welcome everyone. And for those of you watching on YouTube, welcome to you as well. This is a workshop or a work session, I guess is what our bylaws call these things. We're not going to be making any decisions tonight. We are going to bounce ideas and we're going to talk about different ways we can support the library monetarily. I guess, do we want to start? You've got here missions and bylaws. Shall we start with our?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
You're not proposing a reading.
I guess.
No.
Yeah, I think I thought it might be useful at least to go over the missions of each organization. So let me pull mine up here. And so, the mission of the library is pretty clear and defined in law for the most part, but I will say that the library board, let's see, purpose and function of the library board. The board shall be the governing body of the Chetco Library District and shall exercise all powers thereof as authorized in ORS and all of the relevant state statutes that relate to library districts and boards. The board shall strive to serve the needs of the community as a center for informational, educational, and recreational materials and programs. So that last sentence is really the, you know, the thrust of the board and the direction. Is there anything you guys want to talk about with we have a strategic plan also on top of that. I didn't provide it to everyone, but it is available if anyone wants to look at it. It's further supports that and guides our decisions. I don't know exactly what you guys want to cover when it comes to library mission, or maybe this is the good time to talk about why we are doing this.
Sure. The library board has been considering a number of projects that we just simply don't have funding for right now. And we're also looking ahead at seeing some major changes to the budget on the expense side based on forecast expenses with staff and PERS benefits and health insurance. And we're not in a financial crisis right now by any means, but we want to get out in front of it and make sure that we can continue to provide a supportive, attractive workplace for quality staff and all of the cool programs that make this library such a community hub, as well as tackle some deferred maintenance, some not so deferred, it's just time, maintenance and new projects. Like we're excited about a drive-by book drop. We're excited, some of us, about creating like a pedestrian access from the school district, from like the Oak Street side of things into the library at the same time as doing a parking lot resurfacing. And we know that there's going to be increased expenses associated with maintaining the staff that are required to create such a welcoming and vibrant place. We want to make sure that we're equipped to be able to meet those challenges in the future. So some of us said, you know what, this is too big a topic to just tackle in a board meeting. It would take over the whole board meeting's agenda. And there's so many people that ought to be at the table, namely Friends of the Library and the Endowment Board, that we would love to be able to brainstorm with on, you know, whose role or whose board is excited about what type of fundraising, which organization really should take the lead on different types of fundraising, and to make sure both that we're not stepping on anyone's toes or duplicating efforts, to make sure that we have some sort of coordinated plan and to generate ideas through the wealth of knowledge that's in this room. I know that I'm one of the newer board members, and we've got someone who's been, you know, essentially a board member or a volunteer since I was a kid in Brenda's story time back in the day. So we've got a lot of knowledge in the room.
Sue, do you want to add anything?
I don't think there is anything to add. John, Laura? Oh, you have Georgia.
I have a question, actually. When was the strategic plan put together? Has it been recent? Has it been updated?
Yeah, we updated it in 2025. I'm looking at the activity plan here that's dated for 2025 to 2027. And so, yeah, we went through that. We actually started working on it in late 2024. Yeah.
Well, I want to say, first of all, kudos to you guys for doing this, because we all work in the same playground, playing different areas. And it's important that we have a coordination or understanding and communication. So I love this. This is great. And
Georgia has been talking about doing this for a while, honestly. She's been bringing.
yeah, I think it's really important, especially when you're talking about a strategic plan and you want to coordinate. And again, as Cora said, let's, you know, make sure we know what we can do to get the most optimum use of our funding opportunities and our approach to the community. So yeah, I'm all ears on this one.
I'll send out the strategic plan. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it may not be on the website, which is my failure there.
Oh,
Might not be the most updated one on the website. So I will update that and I'll send it all to the strategic plan out so everyone
I think
has
you can
that.
find it if you look in a board packet, but you have to
Yes.
like which month it is.
Okay, okay.
Right,
So
I don't-
I'll make sure it's
I
front and
don't know
center.
when she got passed, but.
Okay.
Anybody? Yes.
I have a question as to the use of the library. Who's using it the most? Particularly the large print, regular print, child section. What portion of it's being used?
For book checkouts, you mean?
Checkouts.
Checkouts would be adult. We get more checkouts from adult collection. in terms of who comes in and out of the building, it's a hard to thing. I would say generally this is an older community, and just anecdotally, I would say, although we have great children's programs and a lot of attendance, particularly for tweens and under, teens are always tough, but this is a largely senior population. But I would say we're pretty well spread across, with it leaning adult in collection and youth in programs. And then meeting room usage is really heavy, and space usage is heavy by adults. Yeah. So it's, I don't have stats to tell you right off the bat,
What
but
about budget to each of these sections?
we don't necessarily split all budgets by age group. Our collection and programming budget are split. Our collection, we have a total number, and then internally we kind of designate certain amounts for adult and children, and they are split according to usage, essentially, not an exact percentage, but more money goes to adult than youth, just because there's more books and more circulate more. But a lot more money goes to youth programs than adult programs,
It's like Kathleen just pulled out the meeting stats.
I was just gonna mention that on the website, under the board of directors, are the packets for each month. And in the director's report, we've started having Julie share with us all kinds of stats. So like this last month, June, the door count, the number of people entering the library for May was over 7,000 people. We jumped a bunch. In 2022 is when we started counting, and it's been going steadily up. 2023, the total was 76,000 people over the year. In 24, it went up to 83.5. 25 went down just a little bit to 81.3. It's looking like it's going to be pretty similar. We also have stats for physical checkouts, number of library programs in attendance, all of that stuff.
Programs is astounding.
Yes.
Just saying the number of library programs in a month.
Sure.
'Cause I lose my mind.
So for this year alone, January program 61, February 70, March 71, April 86, May 73. Attendees total over that period of time, about, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000
I
people.
put it on the screen.
Oh,
Kinda
thank
just
you.
so
There
you
you
know.
go. So in the last 5 months, about 6,000 people have taken advantage of our programs.
So we do actually, in the background, I do have the stats breakdown for what that is, adults and children. I don't necessarily give that level of detail on this, but this is our program sets, and you can see like the blue on the bottom, that's 2024, the middle one is 2025, the top one is 2026. And so you can see in 2024, our total program attendees were 8827. Last year's 1267. So you probably visibly saw an increase in our program. We changed our approach. We put Kat over programming and hired 2 assistants, Michaela and Brenna, for that, which made a huge difference in our programming. So
This is a busy place.
Yeah.
And that fits our strategic plan, one of which was to continue and strengthen our role as a community hub. And that's one of the reasons we're so focused on programs.
yeah,
So
I'll show you a brief overview. Physical checkouts generally gradually are going down, and that's a trend pretty much all over the place. It's something we fight. But if you then look at digital checkouts, which gradually go up, they kind of, work together. So physical checkouts we usually get, you can see, high 4,000s, 5,000s a month, sometimes 6,000. And that's our door count, as Kathleen shared, how many people come in every year. So 80,000-ish come through the doors.
Great, thanks.
Mhm.
any other questions right now? I would like, if you don't mind, I printed the front pages of both of your bylaws so I could see the mission myself, because I didn't know, which is one of the reasons we're meeting. So since nobody was prepared necessarily to read their own mission, I would be happy to do that for you. So from the Friends of Music, sorry.
Wrong group.
I was just at a board meeting for a different group, my bad. Friends of the Library, the purpose shall be to promote interest in the Chetco Community Public Library, to help acquire important materials beyond the ordinary budget, to provide lectures, instruction, and social meetings in cooperation with the library, to broaden cultural interest, to interpret the library's need to the public and local governing bodies, to run the library annex bookstore, book sales, and other fundraisers, and to transmit to the library board needs for services that might be expressed to friends of the library by community residents. Very impressive mission. And then the endowment fund, the purpose for which this corporation was organized in November 1985, wow, is to establish and administer an endowment fund to contribute to the support and development of the Chetco Community Public Library. Very, very straightforward. Thank you. So what should we do next?
Well, I guess, when we were talking about this in the board meeting, my mind goes to the details of the logistics. That's where my mind goes. And I think about the endowment fund that has a, what's the corpus? Thank you. Corpus that you don't spend, that's invested. And right, so their money that they give to the library is only returns on investment. The Friends of the Library does very straight fundraisers. You have a balance, you use what you need for your supplies, and as needed, provide to the library. The library, we have our tax fund, we have different funds. We have a library improvement fund, obviously, that we depleted quite a bit, but not fully, to do the renovation. And that's what Cora was talking about, that we want to try to build back up. Now, when people in the community, where my mind goes, is when people in the community are looking to give to the library, they may not understand what's the endowment fund? What does it do for the library if I give to them? Should I give directly to the library? Should I give to the Friends of the Library? So those potential overlapping of issues, we've all talked about, and I've been in all of your board meetings, and in particularly in the endowment fund and the library board, we've talked about, getting materials to estate planners and looking for those big bequest opportunities and those sort of things. And so trying to think about, from a patron community member perspective, how to make those giving opportunities clear and understandable, so they know who they want to give to and why, which organization. And so I don't have an answer for that, but when I want this meeting, that's part of the problem I want to solve, is how do we, because we all have overlapping missions for sure, but we need to build a library improvement fund so that we can fix the bathrooms, redo the bathrooms in a few years, this year, if we could, but when we have the money for it, so those sorts of things. But the endowment fund and the Friends of the Library are extremely helpful for us as well when these things come up, the drive-through book return, you guys you split the cost of our tide pool room that is in constant use. You guys split the cost of the parent workstation in the children's area. The endowment fund paid for the booths, the sitting booths in the adult area, so these are like fun expenses that aren't in the library's budget. And it's really great to have you guys, but yeah, I'm rambling a little bit, but just to understand what the community's perspective is when they look at the library, that we need a cohesive explanation of what all these groups are and what giving to each of them does.
I think one of the things that we talked about a lot is that, we saved a large amount of cash over 20 or 25 years, and then used a large chunk of it in order to do the improvements that you see around you now. And so the question is not that we're desperate for an improvement today, but that we can see coming down the road, the carpet, it will have to be replaced at some point. These things will have to happen at some point, and our operating budget doesn't really have the room for that. So that's why we've gotten to the discussion of looking at fundraising opportunities. And I think the thing to consider is where need meets need. Where does the person who needs to find a home for their funds meet the need of the library to acquire those said funds? That's the reason why I've been attracted to qualified charitable contributions, which is a vehicle that a person who is required to take required minimum distributions from their 401k or from their IRA or whatever, they have to take those distributions. It's part of the way the law is written. And they may or may not actually want to have that money come into their home because they will pay taxes on it. But a qualified charitable contribution will enable them to redirect that money to the library or to one of the arms of the library, which is all of us, for the purpose of them not having to pay taxes on it, and also enriching the resources available to the library. So this idea of identifying funding sources for the library at large, to meet these, new carpet problems, which are not today, but they will be coming, because we all know we all have to repair the carpets and roofs on our own homes, right? So we know that day is coming, even though it's not today. So we're looking for a way to fund that money, looking for a way to attract that. So to me, is need meets need. We have people who need to find homes for their money. They don't want to pay taxes on it. They'd rather give it to the library, and the library would be happy to accept it.
Does the library have a documentation they can hand out to people who want to know how to do that?
Not yet.
We
That's why
don't.
we're here.
We don't. Yes, and the
Yeah.
library is a organization that could accept money under these conditions.
And we have, the year before last, we had Dorothy Ann Fagundes. I remember her name. I don't know her, but she had a property and lived here part-time years ago, and she left in her will a large bequest for the library, and we put that straight into the library improvement fund a couple of years ago. So it does happen occasionally, and it does happen occasionally with the endowment fund as well. Susanna Fernandez left some funds to the endowment fund and to Curry County Library Network or Foundation, which is the group of libraries in Curry County that work together. So those things happen, but they are very
Have to know about them, right?
slapdash. It's just because, someone who particularly cares about the library and knows they wanted to do that, that's when it happens, not because we are putting information out there or you that, So.
I think it might be a nice goal for us in our conversation today to decide if we want to work together to create a joint brochure that could go to local estate planning attorneys and financial advisors that lists all three of our nonprofits as options, or if we want to commit to each of us individually creating our own brochure. But I would love to see that all three, both Friends of the Library and Endowment Board and the library itself, have something, like you said, to be able to hand out to someone who inquires and to have it on, the library website to make it simple for someone who's just thinking about it. It might be a passing idea. And if they don't find the information easily, they're going to just pick a different charity. We all know that if we've got to make things easy on folks and capture that window of opportunity while they're thinking about it.
So I am curious, Georgia just said, how the two groups attract funds. Georgia, you got a question or comment first?
Actually, I was piggybacking on what Cora was talking about, and I think having a brochure with all three entities, because a lot of people do not understand what is the endowment fund, what is the Friends of the Library, what is the library board itself, and to be very clear. And I would also say along those lines, to beef up the presence of each of those entities on the website.
Yeah.
And so people can understand it as well and have that access. I think it's really important to be online, a much more powerful presence in regards to that.
We have talked about, and I, have started working on creating online donation options. We haven't gone live with anything or done anything because I don't want to put something out there until we have
So we've
a
talked.
cohesive plan. I don't want to confuse myself or confuse people who see an option to donate and then it goes away or things change right away. But yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to monopolize, but to follow that through for the endowment fund organization, I've got some of my board members here, is that we need to put our house a little bit in order ourselves from the standpoint of, I've been on their board for, it'll be 5 years in November. And I'm the chair for the last 4. A lot of changes have happened. One of the things we talked about having a gift policy and having something on hand so that people know very clear guidelines as to what we stand for and what we can provide so that they would know. And so those are things that in-house we probably need to take a better look at ourselves and how we present ourselves to the community.
Speaking of endowment fund and Oregon Community Foundation, which is one of the big changes, endowment fund had prior to Georgia being on the board and a couple other people, it was IRAs just rotating and getting the best rates and leave them in and, CDs, not IRAs, sorry, CDs. And so then a large chunk now of the corpus is with Oregon Community Foundation, which has been great, I think. And Judy Sile, who is also on the endowment fund board, she's their treasurer. She said she was unable to make it tonight, but she did want me to share that Oregon Community Foundation has a ton of resources, including maybe fundraising support for boards and things like that, that it might be an option to reach out to them for ideas and training or, guidance. So I told her I would mention that.
Well, if the board put together a kind of a program for how to do this, they should also then put it out to the various lawyers in town and all the tax prepared people. So it's because people come in and say, I've got this money, what do I do with it? I can give you your children, you can do it. One of them could be library.
So we talked about that too, making sure that
They
they
don't
have
know
that.
it, then they of course won't mention it.
One of our goals is to make sure the message fits all of our, different entities, because there are 3 separate entities here, basically. So
Really see Friends of the Library as wanting even to have financial donations. I mean, I see us as a fundraising organization usually, and so the only donations and at the moment I don't really want them either.
Donate books, right? Donate books for sales.
Yeah, no, we and certainly push for that, and which doesn't. I would still like us to be known and to be
Yes.
understood, but I don't really see us as I guess I can see it that we might have ideas for other forms of fundraising other than just the books sales and the bookstore.
Yeah, like you guys do a great job. I'm not, by bringing up other friends of the library, I'm not saying you should be doing this, but like the Curry Library, they do a silent auction every year, I think. And they do, so there are other fundraising things, but I don't disagree with you. The fundraising mechanisms and the way to get funds for friends groups, endowment funds, and us thinking about our library improvement fund are different. I think my piece of the confusion comes more, no, not my confusion. My expectation of people who want to give their confusion is if they want to leave a bequest, if they want to do something and donate a large amount of money, is that in the endowment fund or is that the library? How does that, who do they choose? So that's more the confusion piece. But I do think that any information that we put about supporting the library, giving opportunities, certainly needs to include friends.
And there can be tax breaks for that too.
Yes,
I mean,
right.
Sharon, yeah, go ahead.
Also too, though, again, we make our money primarily through the book sales and the annex. And some people today still don't know we have a bookstore over there.
Yeah, we were talking about
And so we
signage.
need to
Yeah.
get that information out so people know to come and shop there. Because the people who do know, they'll come and they'll buy, because we have nicer books there.
Yeah, big red ones.
Nice ones here, but the really nice ones are over there. And like they're $2. So people will come in and buy birthday gifts and, Christmas gifts and things like that. But we got to get that word out there, like we have a bookstore.
Well, we have talked about signage and how Cora pointed out, and I've been here for 8 years as of July 1st, by the way, which is crazy. But that the only library sign is on the front of the building. And it just never occurred to me that we don't have anything out on the street or anything that says library. I mean, there's the street sign that has the generic library, book sign thing. So signage has been, and we've talked about getting digital signage so that we can advertise programs and announcements and things like that. But part of that in my mind and probably in conversation has certainly been having better bookstore signage because you guys have a back entrance that doesn't make it easy. So permanent signage, as opposed to putting out which is great.
Yeah,
and
right,
and
right.
that's very visible. And I think the sign that comes and goes actually creates visibility, but people don't know where it's at. So I agree.
Yeah, like more on the street to say, this is,
Yeah.
and say,
Arrow.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And this is a bookstore
Right.
underneath it, so they know what that
Question
is.
about that, since I'm not involved in that at all, but you mentioned books going down and digital going up, checking out, and I will honestly tell you, I haven't been in the annex bookstore in quite a while because I'm finding my reading has flipped. It's almost all e-reader now.
Yeah.
And even when I sign up for a book on the waiting list here, I sign them both. And I usually get the e-reader first, so I don't get the hardbound. Is that affecting the book annex as far as people checking out?
I'm sure it must, but I mean, it wouldn't.
In a general sense, that maybe, you know, 20, 30 years ago, bookstores in general were really popular.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I think a gradual, probably, I don't know how the sales were forever ago.
Well, even from the book sales, I think they've been going down. We used to occasionally make over 5,000 on a sale. We don't do that anymore. We make like 3,500.
Mhm.
People aren't donating as many books. They're not buying quite as many books.
We do get a lot of donations. I mean,
Yeah, but- right.
it's just because, but we, yeah, the last 2 weeks I've had a lot, really a lot.
Mhm.
So it's still a viable fundraiser.
Oh,
but I just
definitely.
wondered about it.
I'm sure it's
So many
probably not
people are
quite as
doing what I'm
effective.
doing.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, but
switching.
You
Yeah.
know, like I'm in a book club that's been going for 15 years already now. We've just had our 15th year. And there's nothing like having though a physical book because you can page back to, you can underline things, you can.
But that's
Yeah.
a personal preference.
You don't have to return it and stuff like that. It's yours.
Yeah.
So if you could buy, and so I'll try to, oh my gosh, that's our book coming up. I'll buy 2 or 3 copies at the book sale. So I can pass them out to people and stuff like that. And we just love it.
Yeah, I know. There's people say they're not ready to give up paper. It took me a while. It was a transition.
Yeah, I do them both. I do them both.
It depends on the book.
Easy.
I do fiction. I can do fiction and e-books,
Oh, yeah,
but I prefer nonfiction and paper.
Yeah, right, exactly, because I underline or put, you know, things in the front, and
Yeah.
those I don't donate back because I want those as reference books.
Yeah.
I've seen
I'm
Pat-
keeping.
Pat and Alita both have had their hands up. at different
Go
times.
ahead, ladies. Pat, go for it.
Having been on the library board for over 2 decades, one of the reasons that I stopped going is I never go into the library and I never get a book out. I've had, I had a stroke 1.5 years ago and it gave me some vision problems. So now I listen to audiobooks. In fact, I think I've almost gone through every mystery and there's 6,000 of them. So I'm having to hold back a little bit. So we have to appeal to everybody. We have to appeal to somebody like me that's just into audiobooks. I worked at the annex today and some woman delivered 7 boxes. And I only know that because my back really hurts. And I delivered 2 boxes and was proud of myself. But so we can't just rely on that great bookstore or people. We have to get out there and get people and bring them in. One of the things while I was chairman of the board that I did for a couple of years is I went down to Crescent City to their library, their big annual party called Libations at the Library. And it was $50. And when you walked in the door, they gave you 2 tickets for drinks and they had a bar set up. And then they had the Tsunami Swing Band play, which I absolutely love. And then they had people that would come by our tables with small hors d'oeuvres. And it was a nice evening. It was fun. It was something totally different from what you normally get in Brookings. And I think I'd love it if we could do something, maybe not something exactly like that, but something similar where people are coming in that normally don't come to the library because it's a celebration and a chance to husband and wife to come out, maybe dance a little bit.
I've thought about that, and some of you may have been here for this event and some may have not, but when we finished our renovation and had the pre-party for you know, inside boards before we did the big grand reopening, I think that was a fun event where we had food and we had music, and I think, you know, that kind of thing makes for a good fundraiser. Give people a reason to dress up and go out and mingle. It does work.
Alina, you had a comment perhaps?
Yeah, to Julie's point, I had read something recently that said bookstores were on the rise again because they are seen as a convening space. It's like a place where people can go and
Yeah,
meet people and talk about things. And so, you
kind of
know,
like a library.
yeah, kind of like a library. But as somebody who spends their day working, staring at a computer, the last thing I want to do is go home and read on a screen.
Right.
So I can listen to an audiobook or I have a weakness for picture books. So if I have a bad day, it's like, give me a quilting book, give me something with
Right.
pretty
Crafting.
pictures and I'm happy camp.
I think it might be helpful to figure out if every organization would want to be featured in a blurb about the different ways of donating to the library, just describing it like a get to know your library and support? Or do you think that if, Friends of the Library doesn't want charitable contributions from required minimum distributions, is it more helpful to just create a brochure with the two agencies or the two organizations that could absorb that type of giving?
What do y'all think?
And then the second question I'll just also say is I'd like to know which organizations or which people from organizations would be interested in thinking through things like recurring giving programs, like automatic giving, e-giving versus fundraising events, like you're talking about, libations at the library, things like that. I'm curious just who has individual interests and also which organizations are interested in what types of programs.
I would,
It was helpful, Julie.
I think if we're gonna be giving something to local attorneys, estate planners, CPAs, that kind of thing, I don't know that the Friends of the Library need to be on that sort of thing, but maybe information about the library and the endowment fund would be helpful. However, other documents that wouldn't be used for that, there should be, on the website, maybe just a general support the library giving brochure. So maybe 2 versions,
Yeah.
depending on what the use
Like
is.
the planned giving version.
Yeah.
And then
Like the one we give to businesses and like hand out to whoever, I don't know who all that would be. Maybe that's something we can brainstorm who all that should go to.
Alita, go ahead, and then Georgia.
My thought is there's more than one way to give.
Yes.
So the Friends of the Library is always looking for people to serve on their board or people to work in the annex building. And so you could also have one brochure that had that. And I think you have some wonderful people working on your landscaping that are volunteers. And I'm impressed because, we've got some landscaping problems at the college that we would love to have volunteers help with.
Yeah.
And we're just not as
Don't take
visible.
Karen, would you like to speak on that?
So I think that,
like, are you saying maybe a combined for the general public as opposed to the planned giving?
Yeah.
You're saying maybe a different formats of giving.
How to support, yeah,
How to support,
time
how to support
or.
a volunteer recruitment, contribution recruitment, all of that. And then, there's one-time gifts, there's short-term gifts, there's advanced planning large gifts. There's the person who gives $5 every month, there's-
That makes sense.
To an extent,
George.
do get things, although we wouldn't be something a lawyer would want to suggest, but we do get a lot of donations from estates.
Right.
I mean, when people.
Oh, sure.
And that is
Yeah.
so.
True, that maybe could be included. I mean, books from property from estates. Although it can be overwhelming also, and you end up throwing away a lot.
Specific tangible gifts.
Yeah, true.
Georgia, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I think even if the brochure only goes to CPAs, attorneys, and informational, I think it's important to have all 3 entities mentioned, but there's specialty where you can donate to the endowment, you can donate to the library itself. And here's the Friends of the Library, this is what they do, and they're always looking for volunteers, because I think we have to be clear in the public's mind, there are 3 different entities. If we don't mention one, people go, well,
Right.
maybe they're the Friends, So if you say all 3, they'll know what they are.
Clarity.
Clarity. And then they also, the more that our entities are out in the public and the community, the more people will recognize and know it. So I think it's important, wherever you can, to mention all 3, but distinctive as to what
Convinced
they
me.
do.
Thank you.
Come on, more ideas.
I just sent you a whole document of ideas that I have for
Oh,
like,
did you?
for like actual fundraising efforts. But I don't know if that's the best use of this time where we would need to figure out just which role is which,
Well, I think in the email, we asked people to come with ideas if you have any. I don't want to not give people the opportunity to share those ideas too. And I've had a couple of suggestions, but it is, fundraising ideas, so those are great too. But I don't know if anyone came into this meeting thinking of some other question or some other idea or
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to quash ideas.
No, I didn't.
I felt like
I think you were.
I could talk now.
I can too, yeah. I understand. I don't necessarily think, like, we could spend hours and hours tossing out fundraising ideas. That's not
Like, okay,
necessarily.
preview. I have an idea to rope Abigail in with Kat to do like a high tea with a princess or queen, like story hour time
Hmm.
with a high tea fundraiser that we sell tickets to. But like that level of granularity, I don't think is helpful. I can just say it like events.
Yeah, sure.
I do like what Georgia did say about identifying all three components of this, because it's a get to know your library kind of an approach. You know, these are the different things that we do. The Friends of the Library is equally important to these other functions as is these other ones. So I think that's a really good idea, Georgia, to emphasize that. And you mentioned CPAs and tax preparers. Let's not overlook advisors. Financial advisors are going to be your first number one person to talk to, because they are the ones who are in the trenches with their clients, who know what their client's reality is. They understand their financial situation. They understand what their RMD looks like. And they really are, before the CPAs and the tax preparers, your advisors are really your first place to talk to people about opportunities.
So, I know that young people, at least, not necessarily our age groups, but young people.
Speak for yourself.
Younger?
Young, well, except for Abigail and Cora.
Squarely middle-aged, like no offense. Like, cross the line now.
I'm so sorry.
So it's just
Ageism, my bad.
Brooking, sorry.
Younger people tend to be more focused on video. And I'm wondering if that's a piece we might want to talk about. Maybe a representative from each of the three groups getting on video. We'd have to get somebody that really knows what they're doing as far as taking it. But, create some sort of marketing piece that we can also use to get to the younger crowds, to use on TV, to.
With all their generational wealth.
Exactly. With
These kids with the loads of cash, but yes,
Anyway,
I love that idea, and also doing like a radio spot at KCIW.
totally, yeah.
It's easy. I'm curious if, for example, if the Redwood Theater would donate a 20-second or 30-second.
Yeah, there you
spot,
go. There you go.
with their advertisements.
Yeah.
I saw tons of people leaving Minions and Monsters today, so the young people.
Wild Rivers Film Festival, I believe their festival is in a week or so.
August.
August, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've got people who can shoot short little videos, so.
And let's not overlook our community theater too, because the community theater addresses a particular part of the community that is not the young people who are playing video games, or the older people who can't focus on our words.
I know, I was like.
Speak for yourself.
So there's this whole part of the demographic that are the 30, 40, 50-year-olds who may very well attend community theater. So let's not lose the community theater.
There's your volunteer pool right there, I think.
I do think that it would be helpful to do, a radio spot, a video.
Yeah.
Or a Redwood Theater ad or something, or a community theater ad.
Mhm.
Once we have a specific ask, whether we're trying to fundraise for the book drop or for signage.
Right.
Or if we're announcing a new program, maybe we're announcing a new online giving program, or we're announcing that we're going to participate in the annual Library Giving Day, which is sponsored by
What
Hoopla.
day is that, by the way?
April 1st.
Thank you.
April Fool's Day, it's Library Giving Day. It's annual and it's sponsored by Hoopla. And they give you the tools to make, to advertise that.
You brought this up last year, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I brought it up and it was only like 30 days out. It wasn't really possible.
Yeah.
But, having some sort of specific ask or announcement versus kind of like generally you can donate to the library will probably be more effective for a video or an audio spot.
Totally agree with you.
And generally, I mean, I think fundraising pushes, if we're doing any sort of goal, it certainly having a where we have a goal to raise this much for this thing is something, if people can get excited about the goal.
Drop.
Exactly.
I think you could actually put a sign up there, how they have a.
And
the
bucket, get money for her to get a draft
for
through
a
book
book drop, because I think a
Sure, I
lot
should do that.
really jump at that one.
Yeah.
I've talked to hundreds of people and only one person was humbuggy about book drop and we're an audiobook, ebook only person. Surely you can appreciate how helpful it would be for everyone else.
I informed Julie, I doubt that I would use it. I'm capable of walking. But you know, hours in the garden, let me tell you, she informed me, oh, someday it'll be a real rainy day and you'll use it.
I was thinking that.
Got a baby in the stroller who just or fell asleep right in the back. Just fell asleep.
Those days are long past.
Can I show proof?
Right, you never know.
They haven't.
But does all of this sound like it jives with your missions and with your desire as to how you want to use your money? And sounds like we can all maybe work, I don't know, and we can't make any decisions here because this is a work session, but I'm wondering if some sort of combination committee might be a way forward to start working on something.
Well, let's not make it an official committee.
Nope, not at all. We learned the hard way, not to.
If the board creates like an official committee, then all those meetings have to be
Public.
public.
A representative of each agent organization.
Just to work on creating a brochure or like a draft for the groups to review separately or something, perhaps like that. But yeah, I think, and unless there's anything else that we should discuss,
You
I
guys
mean,
have ideas you want to throw out? We
I-
keep skipping over that.
yeah,
Well, it definitely needs publicity,
listen.
however you do it, brochure, theater. I don't know, what's it take to get on Medford television? Us older people do watch Medford
We just have to
television.
be newsworthy. So if we had
So we have to be
if we're
newsworthy.
newsworthy, then we could.
Yeah,
But they do public service announcements. And I have seen Brookings public service announcements, so.
but if we're raising money for something specific, that's not difficult to make a newsworthy spin.
Yeah, I wasn't saying newsworthy that it wasn't.
Yeah,
It's easy to get on for free if you
yeah.
are. interested.
Totally true. Nobody
Interesting.
wants to buy carpeting in 20 years, right? No, they don't
Right.
buy book drop today.
Yeah.
I think we'd be luckier if we had an event and getting it advertised over there.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's right.
Yeah.
I like your party idea.
Mhm.
That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know, I belong to a couple other organizations and the Seroptimists have that wonderful annual tea as a money maker. And I belong to the Marine Corps League and they have the Marine Corps Ball. That's their money maker. I mean, I would like us, I like events, obviously. My dancing days are over, but I could show up for the rest of it.
Yeah.
I would like us to do an event.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy to help with that.
Oh, I heard it. I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
On the recording.
I knew that.
Abigail, I think had a comment and then Brenda.
Well, I like the event planning.
True. First and half, yeah.
So
Okay.
that's two of us now.
Right. And I remember, I think it was maybe 7 years ago, the Casa Ball did a big party at the Chetco Brewery.
It was great.
And I think that's the last time that I attended something that I felt really had like the enthusiasm and energy and excitement. That just hasn't really been, that's kind of as far as my experience here. And I think doing something that would feel like people from Medford and Grants Pass would like to come out and share in that experience on the coast and kind of like represent the best of what Brookings has to offer,
Yeah.
but like in an on-brand way. Because I don't know, I go to different things occasionally and I just feel like finding like the middle ground that's not super black tie where it's like expectations fall flat, like it's black tie, get dressed up and here's a paper plate,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, so I think
Mhm.
kind of putting together an event that, and I'm like down to brainstorm on ideas to help with making something realistic and flexible and utilizing the best option for resources.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brenda, you had a comment?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if any of you remember, but years and years ago, we did murder mystery in the library.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I didn't know about that. That's cool.
Different years.
Okay.
It had, a bar and everything, but it was great. People
You can have alcohol.
enjoyed it.
We can,
I
yeah,
have had alcohol here.
yeah.
Okay.
We did it, and we did that.
You have to get a special.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to have a bartender. I don't know if you remember at the event, we had like,
So I never
oh,
paid
right.
any attention.
well, we had book themed
Wonderful
drinks.
Mocktails too.
Yeah.
There were mocktails. I tried
Mhm.
those.
Mocktails and, yeah, drinks.
That sort of ties in. Sue said, a costume party could be fun. What if
That's
we
murder mystery
invited people
was.
to dress up as their favorite character from a book or something like that?
And then there's always this one, right? Who am I?
Yeah,
Yeah. Get this game.
I think Halloween party would be a lot of fun.
As like a book character, Halloween
Yeah.
party could be really.
Yeah, I do agree that a big annual event is pretty common for fundraising organizations. I mean, I was on a board for a domestic violence shelter in Ohio, and they were raising funds for a house, and we brought in a consultant, and that was it. Like, you need to have one big annual event, and they did a big fundraiser, and it was, $80 a spot or whatever, and that was it. And you just plan to do that annually and build it to become something that people look forward to. And then on top of that, encouraging monthly giving, trying to get regular givers who, that's a little bit tougher in a library environment, maybe because we don't have specific, maybe not. I mean, there could be things that we could say that, we're allocating those funds to, but yeah.
I think I found out recently that I'm a monthly giver to the Bird Alliance of Oregon, which is like Oregon Audubon
Yeah.
on accident.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
So people could accidentally.
I do that. Yeah, I think I do ACLU and NPR. Oh, 5 months a month. So that tells you about me.
That murder mystery thing sounded really good.
Yeah.
Recently, the Three Penny with Kat did a murder mystery over at the senior center, and it sold out each time, and it was such a ball. We
So
never had so much fun.
So she has experience too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Miguel and a cat.
Yeah.
I like the costume party
Shannon
idea too.
Williams has dressed up as a
Combination.
character princess before.
Yes.
Kat has dressed up as a character
Mhm.
princess before.
Has many things. She does the mermaid at the pirate festival.
I have an idea.
Uh-huh.
I feel like something that I struggle with is trying to bring different culture and food and things into my kids' lives, but
We love that stuff at the library.
right,
Yeah.
everybody I think does.
Yeah.
And I think it would be really cool to, here's an example. So I'm Filipino, and halo halo is a dessert. It's a shaved ice thing. You have lots of different sides you can put together, and kind of doing a culturally relevant, different parts of the world experience where you might try foods or drinks or whatever.
Like a journey to Philippines.
Yes, like a trip, like a
Around the world.
Yeah, and then maybe
And we could put books by you,
yeah.
travel books and.
And then that could be
Novels
like
based on
a
it,
part
yeah.
of a monthly subscription where you sign
Oh, I
up
see, true.
it to traveling the world.
Well, we do have a monthly spice club, so that would be an easy transition. And we do spices from all over the world, and it's in a bag and recipes and information. So similar.
I know
Yeah.
we could come to that.
Yeah. It's just, we just put them out once a month. I can't remember what date it is. Very popular.
First or second Monday.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
She knows everything that goes on here.
Yeah, Cora is our biggest
Where's
supporter.
the decorum? Any other ideas or comments, or, it sounds like we've got a lot of things to start prioritizing, I guess is probably the best word.
I think I just want to come out of here with next steps. That's I don't want to leave a meeting, if we concluded now, I'm not necessarily satisfied, but I think what's next? Do we want to choose, does people want to volunteer to work on a brochure? Do we want a group to do that? Do we want someone from each organization to maybe
Collaborate.
write a page of information, and I can maybe take a half page, and I can take that information and try to distill it into a brochure, and then.
And I
Can-
volunteered Nathan G. Hanscom to review it.
Yes. He should be here. Where is Nathan?
Apparently.
Good time.
Good time.
All right.
Yeah, I think think the Friends of the Library could put something together, maybe at our next board meeting or something, no?
Yeah, good, but that's not till October.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we went down, but we don't, we used to do a lot of speakers, but you folks are doing so many programs, we've kind of backed off from that now.
Mm,
Because way back when, the library didn't, so we
right,
did.
yeah,
So now you're doing it, so we don't.
right.
So,
We still do.
We still do.
yeah, still do 3 times a year though, only.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm playing in my mind if I were just to try to create that brochure on my own. And I don't know how I would describe whether or not you should give to the library or the endowment fund. Like, how would you propose that we delineate those? If you want to support,
I think it'd be like if you want I would look at how Oregon Community Foundation words their Ask or Wild Rivers Community Fund. The idea is that if you donate to the endowment fund, your gift will continue to grow. The earnings only will be used for the library for kind of one-off projects.
Special projects. something like
If
that.
you wanted to give a restricted gift or something particularly to the children's or to library improvement or to landscaping, you would need to go to the library. Right? And it would be a one-time gift. It wouldn't continue to grow.
that's true. I don't know that I want to open the door to invite restricted gifts.
It could be that the brochure has a list of options, like.
Yeah, if you want to do things for,
Adults.
yeah, true, we could define the
Or like
categories.
where most needed. you know. I
Programming,
love where most needed. Everyone donate to where most needed.
true, yeah, that's not bad.
Because it's gonna go into the asphalt of the parking.
Abigail, I think you had a
I
comment.
have a question.
Question.
Have you found that the increased numbers of programs that you do have increased the attendance, or because in my mind, if like there's 3 things happening in a week, does that mean that
Hmm.
how does it affect the success of the program?
Yeah, the more we do, the more attendance we have, I think, yeah, especially with children.
The children's, it's like, it's,
They
like,
want-
we had a carnival in here that like Matt, I'm sure we were overfired. No, we were being recorded.
I talked to the fire marshal about that event in
Okay.
particular, so you're good. Aubrey, if you're listening, that's what we're talking about. We've already covered it.
It was insane, right? And then,
I came to that.
right, I was freshly jet lagged, I'd just flown in from Scotland and I was like, I feel like I'm hallucinating.
It was wild, yeah.
And then, moved outside for the ice cream and fire truck. And again, broke records for children's attendance. Like I think that there's so much need for free community programming. We don't have a city Parks and Rec program for kids anymore. There's not anything unless there's like a VBS or something. There's nothing that a family can go enjoy together free.
I think that the more programs we have, it embeds families specifically more into the library. So if you are having one story time a month, this is a really simplistic example. We've always had them once a week at least, so that's not accurate. But if you have one story time a month, like the kids that come are going to be kind of sporadic. You might have different groups of kids each time, but we're having story time every week. Then you're getting the same kids back every time, and then also that sporadic
And
attendance.
they see the brochures, they see the next flyers
Yeah.
and they get excited.
And so then those families who are already here for other events are then seeing and coming more and more. So it's been,
For the adult programming, it's so wildly different. I don't think they're stealing from each other. There's like our chair yoga and the textile arts people, the same people, they could be, but.
and then the drum circle when
And
you
then-
came in,
right. Or not, I don't think they're limiting their participation.
Yeah, it doesn't divide it more programs.
Just
means
use the library
attendance.
more and more.
Yeah. So I understand that. I think that explanation is good for the differences, and I think that gives me a good.
So can we perhaps ask a representative from the foundation and the Friends to then come up with some content? And if you want, share it with Julie, who can then create a draft that we can all look at and.
And it doesn't have to be like a polished, I don't need a polished document because it's
Just
gonna be
content.
edited.
Yeah.
But just a half page of information that you would want to be out there
Mhm.
about donating or participating or anything like that. And then I can try to put the information together and then send it back out to whoever's volunteering and we can go from there. Maybe a person from the board too, who would, Cora, yeah.
Cora?
Marilyn, did you raise your
Yeah,
hand?
in effect, so like from us, you want to know, what do we do and how you folks can help us?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
We
honestly,
can do that.
I mean, you started and we can compare.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
If there's room in there, you might also indicate we've been doing this since the year
Yeah. how long
nineteen
the group has been
hundred.
around. It's been a long
These are the
time.
things we've accomplished and these are the things we're looking forward to doing.
Yeah, because what happens is Julie has a need, she'll say, I need, $3,000 for this, and we write her a check and here it is. I mean, it's just that simple.
Here's
Yeah,
the
we
question
should
is,
have that evidence here on.
Yes.
we're so grateful.
Grants,
You always
yes.
are coming through for us when we've
Yeah.
got some cool
Saved
project
us.
that needs to get over the line.
Yeah.
And I have a question. As Friends of the Library, to what extent are you able to spend funds on your own equipment that you need? Like, are you able, if your point of sale breaks, you're able to replace that with your?
Yeah.
Yeah, that they would use, the library contributes, of course, the building, like it could be for Friends of the Library signage, like they buy their own.
That's what I'm,
Yeah,
that was the
if we
first question.
could discuss and you guys pay for your own annex sign out of that as opposed to donating it to us for us to do it, Um,
I was curious, I'm curious to know if signage that clearly states that there's a bookstore there that says so 24 hours a day, so that people who are driving by are like, oh, there's a bookstore, I should check that out sometime. I'm curious if that would increase traffic in a noticeable way.
I would assume so, yeah.
I would think so. I mean, you're talking about down on the highway?
No, I'm talking about in front of
In
the,
front of the building.
In front, yeah.
Oh.
If you have an idea for where we could put a sign on the highway, then you let me know, because I want the library digital sign on the highway.
I know, but is there a sign that says library?
There's a highway sign that is placed by the,
And you can miss really.
City or-
Yeah, I never even see those.
but it would be fantastic if I could put
Well,
a
it just seems like
digital signage out there on
so
the
many
corner.
people use railroad now.
Yeah.
Myself
That's true.
included, avoid going
Especially
through
since they went to
town.
20 miles
So
an
I
hour.
get out
Yeah.
there somewhere.
And the
Yeah, that corner
On the
probably.
corner, well, yeah.
the traffic safety rules aren't as strict for railroad as it would be for Highway 101, because then you're dealing with a whole different level.
Yes.
Right, ODOT. yeah.
Flashing lights and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
size, yeah.
And the endowment board, you're on board with this too, as far as sending us some content and.
Yeah.
And also, it just occurred to me, this is not just about the brochure, this content that you give me, however long it is, I will also use to then create that webpage.
Yeah.
So if it's more information, I can obviously fit more information on the website.
Pictures
then
would be lovely too. If y'all have pictures,
Whatever you want to share with me, I
Yeah.
can build out, but
cause you're right, we've been a bit remiss, that's the right word,
Mhm.
in not bringing the attention to both organizations, because you do so much for the library, and I don't think people know that.
I think the Friends of the Library is the most visible.
Yeah.
You guys have the book sales, everyone knows about it, long-standing, twice-a-year book sales, we get calls all the time about it, when's the next book sale, when's the next book sale? Endowment fund is a little more under the radar, which honestly, for a little while there, when the library was under so much scrutiny, I was glad. We talked about that in the endowment fund board meetings a little bit. It was like, if they think we have a lot of money with this in library improvement fund, like they're not even thinking about the corpus for the endowment fund. But that's totally different. That's just, it would have been just another thing to explain
But
because it functions
Still
differently.
have to address that concept because in a lot of ways, I feel very fortunate as a library district that we are robust enough.
Yes.
However, there's always things in the planning for the future, exactly what this board is doing right now is perfect.
Yeah.
Because you do need to look ahead. I mean, that was one of the things, so many organizations did not look ahead.
Most libraries in small towns do not have savings, you have
Yeah.
Port Orford, even Curry, they have a project come up and they have to write grants and fundraise and beg and borrow. So we're very fortunate to have that. And that was, the prior boards and Susanna's foresight to do that, and endowment fund and Friends of the Library.
And as an endowment fund, we have to say, why would you want to donate?
Yeah, and so we are a small town library, but we operate at a very, I think, professional level for the size of this community. And I think in particular in Curry County, there's troubles in government. To be vague, but
We also have a lot of older people with nothing to do.
that's true.
Like you, Jim.
Volunteering, right?
Exactly.
Um,
That's what keeps us young.
Uh-huh.
But I
totally
think,
agree.
yeah, the library operating and functioning this way, I think it's just a good example. The library, we have our stuff together. We try to know what we're doing. We try to think for the future. We're not trying, we don't want to scramble every time we have a need. So certainly, I think it's a great goal, and I think it reflects very well on the board and this library that we are in a good position, and we're trying to remain in a good position far into the future, you know, when we're all gone.
I think we're very lucky in a community this size to have a library like this.
Agreed.
Totally, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of visitors say that, like,
Yeah.
whoa, like they walk in and they're like, I'm shocked by this library in this community. So it is a point of pride.
And just to let you know, I volunteer over the Capella, and so they always
Mhm.
talk about, you know, what you could do in town. I keep sending people over here.
Good.
So I don't know how much traffic you get from that, but it's like, oh my gosh, really? You know, I've heard about that.
Yeah. The
So I
sword.
think a lot of them dash over here.
Yeah.
Can I say something about landscaping project?
Yes.
Yes, please do.
Well, before she does, let me say that primarily Karen's husband, Don, has been managing this whole project, and
Yeah.
poor guy.
Julie
Thank you.
asked and he accepted.
Mm.
I don't think he quite knew how involved or volunteer it would.
I want to clarify that. I think he volunteered. I don't know that I asked.
Asked him. He
Did I?
come in here and say, Julie, I need to redo your landscape.
Okay, well, I may have asked.
But I know you hear all sides of it. I know you've gotten some people say, oh, you took trees down. What are you doing?
Not
But
too many.
we've worked here hundreds of hours, whether you know it or not.
Oh, yeah.
And we get a lot of neighborhood people that walk, and we've gotten so many compliments, and I want you to know it. People are noticing. People are appreciating it. People are saying, oh, it was time, it needs work. And I know it's not even complete yet, but you might notice if you look at it nowadays, you can see a difference. It took a
Absolutely.
few months. At first it was,
It's always a transition,
Looks
and
better, right?
yeah, and we were fortunate to have a neighbor who came with his heavy equipment. Julie was here that day. It was an open day. And he pulled out some of the old stuff that didn't belong, and he did some free, what do I want to
brush
say?
cleanup and.
Yeah, but I mean, he
Tree
took
removal,
stuff
stuff
away.
removal.
He took a lot of debris
Yeah.
away for you.
Yeah.
So
Rob Lee, what's the name of his company? Give him a shout out.
Rob Lee, Hard Rock,
So.
for Hard Rock.
I can't
I
remember
always
his
mess
name.
up the name. He used to be Lee Construction, and now his son is Hard Rock Cement, Concrete and everything. But anyway, it is a big project, and he's put a lot of heart and soul into this, designing it, finding plants that will hold up, that will last in the weather, will not need a lot of watering, will not be eaten by the deer. There's a lot to think about, you know. We are going over to Medford tomorrow, and we hope we will be getting final plants.
Okay,
So, and if you don't know, the money came from the endowment fund. So this is like an extra, like you talk about,
Yeah.
so.
and if anyone is looking for, you want to participate in this project,
Yeah.
there's a lot of weeding that needs to be
Oh,
done.
there's a lot of
on-
weeding.
Particularly on Railroad Street.
I saw the dandelions.
And Diane
Oh.
asked me to specifically mention it to the board, since there's conflicting schedules and everything. We
Yeah.
want to help. We'll weed all the stuff on Railroad Street. You'll know what it is when you see it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Don it's been a blessing to
You've got
the
my
library.
husband quite.
I have.
And he's not the most easygoing, but I think he's getting a kick out of it.
I'm glad. I hope it gives him some satisfaction, even if it also gives him lots of frustration.
We appreciate him, that's for sure.
So we're gonna sum everything up.
Well, I
Yes.
would like to ask, do we want to pursue an event also? Because it's July, and if we're gonna do something for Halloween, we should probably start planning now. If we want to try to do something in the spring, then you know, a little bit of breathing room. Is that something we want to jump right into, or are we happy with just coming up with a brochure and a page for now?
I love the murder mystery idea.
Yeah.
Because we should.
We got two volunteers back here too.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with I think an event is a good idea. I'm not sure about timing. Do we want to do a Halloween costume party, murder mystery. I don't know. Do we need to decide that right now? Or maybe I should talk to
I
Kat
want to make sure that
also.
Pat's in on that conversation.
probably.
Yeah.
Like set building and costuming and
Right.
programming.
If-
I think they've got a lot of
If
experience.
we have a few people here that want to be in on that, perhaps we could grab your emails. We already
Well, I have everyone's emails.
yours. And then,
Um,
keep you in
okay.
the loop, I guess.
Okay, I'll keep you in mind. And Brenda, I'm gonna talk to you about what that murder mystery looked like because I didn't know about it. And so I might get details about that.
Got 2 years.
Okay,
And it could be fun just to do an event in the middle of the rainy season when there's nothing else to do,
Well,
like January.
we had friends who did in town years and years and years ago, and it was Halloween.
Mm,
And they did it on Valentine's Day, but everybody dressed up.
that's a great idea.
Everybody loved it, and it came in a season when there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
it was the rainy
Need that more
season.
time.
And yeah, it was a big event in Brookings for 3 or 4 years.
How fun.
That was great.
Cool. Okay, well, it sounds like we'll keep doodling that and we'll get something going. You guys have your marching orders, I think, right? Is there anything else that anyone wants to share before I close this workshop?
I do want to say, how about get me some information
By when? That's the
by,
question.
yeah, let me look at how much time do you want couple of weeks? Does that sound all right? Georgia, are you,
How about by August 1st?
no one,
Too long.
are you gonna do this or do you want me to, or
Go
Karen or?
ahead and try and put something together and run it by the board.
And I think the endowment fund used to have brochures.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know if there are any floating around that
For
you
a
might
number of
use.
years. I don't know.
There might be one in the box. You know who would know is Judy because she's been through every single document.
She might know better than I would,
Yeah.
because when the endowment fund used to send out yearly
Uh-huh.
requests to every card holder.
Oh, wow.
And that was done before my time, and then when I was in it first time back in the
Mhm.
90s or something, we sent everybody got.
And that might be, something to consider
It
at
was
some point.
publicity.
Yeah.
And it did result in some.
Yeah.
Donations, yeah.
So by the 24th, that's 2.5 weeks. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a date. Do you need more time, less time?
Well, my problem is I got 15 people coming for a week.
Okay, you need more.
From the
The
18th.
end of the month?
The 18th to the, what is it, a week from the 18th to the 25th.
How about
So-
by the end of the month?
Yeah. By the end of the month. Is that good with you?
And if you, whatever, I mean, it's an arbitrary deadline, so if you need more time, just tell me.
By the end of the month,
Okay,
end of July.
great.
Any other questions, comments?
This is extremely helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, this was fun. We need to do this more often.
Yeah, I've been wanting for a long time to get the boards together too, because I want to
Yeah,
know
yeah.
who's on the boards. Yeah, what do you people do?
Totally. Okay, I think we are adjourned.
Here.